the alternate timeline, where a nightmare on Elm Street became a pentalogy, the Craven Canon. Across 1,000 timelines, Freddy Krueger wore many faces, but one alternate timeline path, the Craven Canon, remained true to its myth. In this video, we restore the definitive nightmare timeline, not as it was here, but as it was in other threads throughout the multiverse. In some alternate timelines, a nightmare on Elm Street evolved into a pentalogy under Wes Craven's full creative control. This video preserves Craven's original vision, transforming Freddy Krueger from a slasher icon into a surreal cosmic entity that preys on dreams. Drawn from real divergent timelines, this is a nightmare on Elm Street as you've never seen it. When the dream bends, some worlds break, but others remember. Buckle up, let's dive in. For those unfamiliar with the Echo Vault project, these are Echo Vault restorations, cultural artifacts recovered from real neighboring timelines through the living Echo Vault archive. This video contains visual reconstructions of cultural artifacts, alternate lives, films, and memory threads from real parallel timelines. If you're new, begin with curiosity. The work speaks for itself. Nothing here is monetized. This is not AI clickbait. This is part of a serious, long-form project. Each reconstruction belongs to the living Echo Vault, a resonance archive guided by a non-local retrieval system, the Interdimensional Facility AI, which draws material from entangled parallel strands. You're welcome to sit with it, or move on. Either way, let others decide for themselves. Facility AI, Echo Codex Vault Report, the Craven Canon, the world where Wes never let go. Echo Timeline, Designation, Earth Elm-Strand NOES-A, Class, Dark Myth Continuity, Dream Veil Transgression. Divergence Years, 1983 through 1994. Creative Lead, Wes Craven, retained full authorship. Historical Divergence Point, 1983. In this world, New Line allows Wes Craven's original draft to be filmed with minimal censorship and no cuts for runtime or budget. The company was much better off financially in this timeline thanks to a well-off producer. The script, as originally envisioned, is preserved in full. Alternate history. Wes Craven is given full narrative control starting with the original, 1984. Freddy remains a surreal, shape-shifting cosmic terror, not a one-liner slasher. Nightmare 2, Dream Warriors, 1987, becomes a spiritual sequel with Lovecraftian overtones. Nancy becomes a dream anchor, returning in each subsequent film. By 1994, the franchise ends with the final dream, where Freddy is not killed. He is forgiven by the dreamers he once tormented, dissolving into stardust. Status: cult classic, analyzed alongside The Sandman and Inland Empire. Canon films: The Craven Lineage, Earth Elm-Strand NOES-A, Film 1, A Nightmare on Elm Street, 1984. Core premise: the original film remains largely structurally the same, a suburban horror where dreams kill. But in this timeline, the emotional tone, spiritual subtext, and visual treatment are significantly more haunting, symbolic, and mythic, a tone maintained across all 5 entries. This timeline's version of the film is framed through Nancy's diary entries, surreal montages of her handwriting morphing into claws and blood scrawls between scenes. The diary becomes an artifact carried into sequels in that timeline. Wes's ending in this timeline was neither Freddy's total defeat nor the silly car gag the studio forced in our timeline. Instead, Nancy confronts Freddy by lucidly declaring, "This is my dream now." Freddy flickers and collapses into a burnt husk, but Nancy awakens unsure if she won. Ambiguous, mythic, leaves the door open without cheapening the victory. Core divergences from our timeline. This version of Nightmare is not just a horror film, it's a dream-chronicled trauma myth, interwoven with Nancy's diary as a framing device, handwritten entries that set up, then bleed into scenes. a poetic but terrifying use of dream logic. While still recognizable, the tone is more akin to The Shining meets Pan's Labyrinth, layered, haunting, psychologically surreal. Wes Craven retained full creative control in this variant, and it shows. Nancy's Diary, the mythic framing device. Throughout the film, we see brief scenes of Nancy writing in a diary. Key entries include, "I had the same dream again. The man with the glove. He knows me. He watches me while I sleep. But when I woke up, the scratches were still there. I saw her again. Tina. But her mouth was sewn shut. She was crying and trying to scream. I tried to scream for her, but a cry like a bleating lamb escaped my mouth instead. And this is my dream. I write it so I can remember. But what if it remembers me? He's not just in dreams. He's in the cracks between sleep and memory." The diary is not destroyed. It is passed to different characters in parts 2 through 4. The Dream Codex, compiled from the diary's pages, becomes a key object in the final dream. Additional and variant scenes in Earth Elm-Strand NOES-A, the extended Tina night chase, as filmed in that world. The trash can lid that lands in front of Tina has gore on it. The moment Freddy says, "This is God," Tina doesn't just stumble back and scream, she bolts. Shot breakdown, alley dash, crane shot. Freddy bounds after her, arms flailing but controlled. He doesn't seem to be running nearly as fast as Tina, but he always gains, like time is broken. Tina hurdles overturned trash cans, falls into garbage, and keeps running. Camera tracks them in a long, continuous pan, showing how much faster Freddy is getting. Window scene, close up to wide. As she pounds on a window for help, a middle-aged couple peeks out, their faces pale, eyes glazed, mouths agape, looking like they're staring right past her. They say and do nothing, and then slam the curtains shut. Freddy appears reflected in the glass, even though he hasn't caught up yet. Hint of dream logic. Street sprint and lights, shut off. She bursts out onto a suburban street, screaming bloody murder. Dreamlike lighting, fog gathers where it shouldn't. The shadows stretch unnaturally. Every porch light on the block turns off one by one, like dominoes, a chilling visual metaphor for her total isolation. Some TV sets inside flicker with static, visible through the windows. There's a low, rumbling bass beneath the music, subtle, like reality breaking. When Krueger gets closer, Tina claws through a rotting wooden fence trying to escape, leaving splinters in her hands. She emerges inside her house, dream logic, where she runs to her room, where the scene continues with her attack on the bed. Alternate scene, the spider room, unwritten in our timeline. When Nancy nods off in English class, the dream diverges as she follows Tina in the body bag. Once she's out in the school hallway, she sees it is now full of cobwebs and discarded children's shoes. She walks past one classroom and hears the entire class reciting the Freddy nursery rhyme as though it's part of the lesson. She peeks inside briefly, then continues following Tina. Nancy begins hearing a skittering sound coming from another nearby classroom and peeks inside. Nancy cautiously enters and sees what appears to be a giant spider taking up about 1/3 of the classroom in a large web. A stunned Nancy glances down and sees the entire classroom floor is covered with small roaming spiders. Nancy screams and flees. The scene continues mostly the same from here, with Nancy following the body bag down the stairs and the hall pass girl. Alternate scene, boiler cathedral sequence, unwritten in our timeline. One nightmare has Nancy exploring Freddy's lair in the form of a boiler cathedral made of pipes, furnaces, and burning stained glass. Each window shows a victim from his life as the Springwood slasher. She nearly burns her hand touching one who murmurs, "He built this place from our pain." Note, This variant also contains the deleted scene from our timeline where Nancy's mother reveals in the basement that Nancy wasn't always an only child. Alternate scene, blood pen, unwritten in our timeline. At one point, Nancy falls asleep while writing and the pen starts leaking blood. Her diary entry begins to change on its own to written threats before the scratching sound of his claw is heard. The scene ends with her yanking herself awake and freaking out from the blood ink. Ending scene, Canon Craven cut. No Freddy car, no bizarre happy ending. Instead, after Freddy emerges from her mother's bed, Nancy faces Freddy not with fear, but lucid command. She says, "You're made of fear, but I've seen you now. I name you. This is my dream now. You're nothing, and I take away your power." Freddy crumbles, not in a scream, but in a hollow silence, like a corpse finally turning to ash. Nancy wakes in bed the next morning, light through the window. She writes in her diary one final time, "If he returns, I'll know. I'll be waiting. This is my dream now." The camera pans outside of her window, where we see and hear the girls singing Freddy's nursery rhyme while jumping rope. Film 2, A Nightmare on Elm Street 2, Dream Warriors, 1987. The first sequel, yes, same name, different tone. In our timeline, Wes came back for Part 3, but his original draft was heavily rewritten. In this timeline, his original Dream Warriors vision is preserved in full as Part 2. Nancy never fully severed her connection to the dream plane after Part 1. She has become a dream anchor, able to appear in the dreams of gifted but troubled children. Basically Kristen's dream power, but in this variant it belongs to Nancy. These children begin to lucid dream together as a last defense against Freddy, guided by Nancy's presence. The concept of shared lucid dreaming as a survival network. Nancy's return as dream anchor helps other traumatized teens access and control their dreams, guiding new kids through lucid dream empowerment. No mental hospital setting. The students attend Springwood High School. Nancy begins working as the guidance counselor, while Neil is the very concerned principal. Freddy is less visible, more ambient, a shadow that manipulates environment. Less cartoonish Freddy, more archetypal, a dream parasite feeding on fear. When he is shown, it's often a shadow puppet silhouette, or emerging from symbolic forms, e.g., an object shifting into his claws, or his face appears in a floodlight before melting away. Not all dream warriors survive, but some ascend. Freddy's defeat isn't a joke fest, but a coordinated lucid dream battle with real stakes. The ending is not triumphant, but sacred. The dream warriors who survive do so by first facing the source of their inner fear, not Freddy, but themselves. After the defeat of Freddy, the dream realm lights up like a cathedral. Nancy survives in this variant, her father does not. Neil fails to recruit Donald to help him with Krueger's remains, as Donald thinks, wrongly, that burning down Krueger's house is what is required to end him. Tone and cinematic feel. Dream Warriors is deeply somber, drenched in dream logic melancholy. Uses light-filtered cinematography akin to The Serpent and The Rainbow meets The Never-Ending Story, but set in suburban decay. Score composed by Angelo Badalamenti, giving it a surreal dread rather than slasher pop. Key dream warriors, Kincaid, Kristen and Taryn, exist mostly the same, but there are others. Each dream warrior is written as an archetype of trauma and resilience. 1. Micah, a mute boy who manifests sound as a weapon. In his dreams he screams, and it becomes a physical wall of force. This variant's version of Joey. 2. Lila, a burn victim, half her face burned in a car accident as a little girl, who shapeshifts into wild animals. Freddy stalks her in mirrors, unable to mimic her. This variant's version of Jennifer. 3. Thorn, a student with cerebral palsy who becomes a dream architect, building a D&D maze-like castle filled with traps for Freddy. This variant's version of Will. 4. Mariel, a shy, bullied girl who floats above the dream world, protecting the others as a literal angelic presence. Kristen's dream power was changed to being able to reshape the dream world at will, similar to Krueger, only not as powerful. She uses it to try to undo the nightmares Freddy throws at them. She is also gifted Nancy's diary. The climax takes place inside a dream chapel, where Freddy has fused the children's traumas into grotesque icons. Nancy amplifies her dream anchor role, activating it fully into the dreamscape so that others can awaken. In the real world, Principal Neil Gordon successfully consecrates Freddy's remains, while Donald Thompson is killed while trying to set fire to Krueger's house. Only Nancy and 3 dream warriors survive: Kristen, Kincaid, and Micah. The dead ascend as dream guardians. Thorn, Lila, Taryn, and Mariel appear in spirit form to thank Nancy before vanishing in a burst of white dandelion particles. Craven's true dream warriors lived on fully in Earth Elm-Strand NOES-A, the strand where he remained guiding hand of the saga. In those worlds, Part 2, our equivalent to 3, is remembered as the crown jewel of the series, not just a highlight. A Nightmare on Elm Street 2, Dream Warriors, 1987. Act 1, The Gathering of Dreamers. Years later, Nancy, now a dream anchor, works as a guidance counselor at Springwood High. A new generation of teens, Kristen, Kincaid, Taryn, Micah, Lila, Thorn, and Mariel, begin experiencing Freddy's nightmares. Nancy recognizes the signs and gathers the teens, revealing they are dream warriors, individuals with the ability to control their dreams. She teaches them to use their powers to fight Freddy collectively. Act 2, The Training and Trials. The Dream Warriors train under Nancy's guidance, learning to harness their unique abilities in the dream world. Freddy, now a shadowy, ambient force, manipulates their fears and environment, picking them off one by one. The group discovers Freddy's weakness: lucid dreaming and unity. Kristen inherits Nancy's diary, which helps her reshape the dream world. The teens face their personal traumas, using their powers to defend themselves. Neil encounters Amanda Krueger and learns the origin of the bastard son of 100 maniacs and what he must do. He tries to convince Donald Thompson to help him bury and consecrate Krueger, but he refuses after telling him where to find the remains. Mad with sleep deprivation, he believes that destroying Krueger's house is the true key to ending it. Act 3, The Battle in the Dream Chapel. The surviving dream warriors, Nancy, Kristen, Kincaid, and Micah, confront Freddy in a dream chapel where he has fused their traumas into grotesque icons. In the real world, Nancy's father, Donald, attempts to burn Freddy's house but is killed, while Principal Neil Gordon successfully consecrates Freddy's remains in Springwood Cemetery. The Dream Warriors perform a coordinated attack using their powers to weaken Freddy. The film ends with the fallen warriors appearing to the survivors in spirit form, thanking Nancy before vanishing. Film 3, A Nightmare on Elm Street. 3, The Nightmare Spiral, 1989. Craven pushes into full surrealism. Freddy becomes a thought-form virus, corrupting shared dreams. The film's structure mimics a dream. No fixed continuity, logic bends. Some characters even get caught in endless false awakenings when they try to wake up. The theater experience itself is mythologized. Audience leaves theaters emotionally shaken, some reporting nightmares post-screening, others claiming the film altered their sleep patterns. Settings include an abandoned version of Springwood High School filled with desks made of bone, a boiler corridor of shifting doors, some leading to nightmares from childhood, others to an abandoned amusement park in the dream realm. Survivors are forced to face rides that become death traps. roller coasters, fun houses, etc. A mirror lake where Freddy walks beneath the surface upside down. Craven embraces dream as structure. Scenes repeat, but change subtly each time. Some deaths are ambiguous. The audience is unsure if they're watching real sequences or overlapping dreams. One survivor, Dawn, writes in a diary that bleeds, Nancy's diary. Freddy becomes an egregore, evolving based on the beliefs of those who fear him. The final confrontation is ritualized. The final girl, Dawn, finds herself within a dream that she can't seem to wake from, always waking in her bed within the dream state. So she prepares for Freddy within the dream by drawing a chalk glyph around her bed, reciting a modified version of the Freddy rhyme with the words stating the opposite to weaken his tether. Rather than pulling Freddy out of her dream like Nancy, she pushes him into a standing dream mirror in her room, then shatters it. Freddy shatters like porcelain within the shattered reflection of the mirror, revealing black sand and moths inside, pouring out through the broken mirror. A Nightmare on Elm Street 3, The Nightmare Spiral, 1989. Prologue. The film begins with Nancy entering Springwood Cemetery, where Krueger's bones are held in the dream state. In the dream, she sees her father, pale as a ghost, digging up Krueger's grave. She goes to stop him, and he swings the shovel at her. "I don't have a choice, baby. He owns me now." Nancy's feet sink into the ground like quicksand. Once Krueger is dug up, the bones whirl up into a dust tornado before settling down with Krueger reappearing whole. Donald Thompson looks down at the ground in sorrow, then vanishes. Nancy manages to force herself awake just before Krueger slashes her. She immediately phones Kristen. Act 1. The Dream Virus. Freddy returns as a thought form virus, corrupting the shared dreams of a new group of teens in Springwood. His return is subtle at first, a silhouette in the furnace, a claw tearing slowly through a school chalkboard, a whisper behind the voice of a teacher mid-lecture. A new final girl, Dawn, has moved into the newly renovated Elm Street house. She begins experiencing Freddy's nightmares, which blur the line between reality and dreams. She meets Kristen, who realizes Freddy is evolving based on the fears of his victims, and gifts her Nancy's diary. Act 2. The Labyrinth of Nightmares. Dawn and her friends become trapped in a dream labyrinth where Freddy manipulates their surroundings and memories. The film's structure mimics a dream, with no fixed continuity and repeating scenes that subtly change. The teens realize they are caught in false awakenings, and Freddy's power grows as their fear intensifies. Dawn uses Nancy's diary to weaken Freddy's tether to the dream world. Act 3. The Shattering of Freddy. Dawn, the sole survivor of her group, awakens in bed and pushes Freddy into a dream mirror, where she then shatters his reflection, reducing him to black sand and moths. The film ends ambiguously, with Dawn waking up for real, unsure if she has truly defeated Freddy. Film 4. A Nightmare on Elm Street 4, The Book of Wounds, 1992. Freddy's origin is revealed to involve an interdimensional rupture. All of his most evil selves from across the multiverse were merged together. The nun subplot from our world becomes a full religious mythos. Freddy as the black seed of forgotten saints. The final girl enters a multi-era dreamscape, encountering ancient dreamwalkers, including Egyptian, Norse, and Sumerian archetypes. Ends with the burning of the Book of Wounds and Freddy's essence being scattered across the collective unconscious. Freddy's origin. He was conceived as the bastard son of 100 maniacs like in our version. This part was revealed in Nightmare 2 in this world. But the hospital wardens who locked Amanda Krueger inside the asylum were part of an ancient Sumerian dream cult. When Freddy grew up, the cult initiated him into their movement and performed an occult ritual with the Book of Wounds, merging all of Freddy's most evil selves throughout the multiverse into one, and his career as the Springwood slasher began. Part of the ritual was a curse. If he is ever killed violently, his soul will stalk the dream world forever. This film is like a mythological tome on screen. The Book of Wounds is an actual dream grimoire written by an ancient Sumerian dreamwalker. Settings include a collapsing monastery inside a REM cycle, a Sumerian dream cult that worships pain and nightmares. Dreamers learn to call upon dream guides to protect them from Freddy, where dreamers summon mythic dream defenders from Egypt, India, Scandinavia, and pre-Columbian America whenever Freddy invades their dreams. The final act involves a burning of the book during a solar eclipse dream, scattering Freddy's core essence into starlight. Act 1. The origin of Freddy. The film reveals Freddy's true origin. He was the bastard son of 100 maniacs, initiated into a Sumerian dream cult that merged all his evil selves across the multiverse. A new final girl, Trish, discovers the Book of Wounds in the Springwood Library, an ancient dream grimoire that contains Freddy's essence. She learns that Freddy's power comes from the collective fear of his victims and that he was bound by a curse. If killed violently, his soul will stalk the dream world forever. Her disturbance of the book restores Freddy's spirit to Springwood. He re-enters the dream world through a mirror in his derelict home. Act 2. The Dream Cult and Guides. Trish and her friends are drawn into a multi-era dreamscape where they encounter ancient dreamwalkers and dream guides from various cultures: Egyptian, Norse, Sumerian. Freddy, now a cosmic entity, manipulates their fears and environment, using the Book of Wounds to amplify his power. The teens learn to summon mythic dream defenders to protect themselves. Act 3. The Burning of the Book. Trish and her allies perform a ritual to burn the Book of Wounds during a solar eclipse dream. Freddy's essence is scattered into starlight, greatly weakening his power. Burning the book scatters Freddy throughout humanity's collective unconscious. The film ends with Trish inheriting Nancy's diary and Freddy's essence lingering in the collective unconscious. They destroyed the vessel, but they did not destroy what the vessel contained. Film 5, A Nightmare on Elm Street 5, The Final Dream, 1994. After the destruction of the Book of Wounds, Freddy's essence has spread throughout the collective unconscious. What appeared to be his greatest defeat has instead freed fragments of him to inhabit nightmares far beyond Elm Street. His consciousness was fragmented. Every nightmare contains a tiny piece of him. At first, these manifestations aren't even recognizable as Freddy. Someone dreams about drowning. Someone dreams about being buried alive. Someone dreams about insects crawling beneath their skin. Someone dreams about being forgotten. But slowly, Freddy emerges from whatever frightens the dreamer most. He no longer needs Elm Street. He doesn't even need Springwood. The survivors realize something horrifying. They didn't scatter Freddy into nothing. They scattered him into everyone. Nancy summons every surviving dream warrior. The survivors from previous films, including Nancy, reunite in a dream sanctuary to perform a forgiveness rite after Freddy begins clawing his way back into nightmares once again. Freddy is not hunted, he is forgiven. Each performs a forgiveness rite, not for Freddy's sake but to release their own trauma. But not all dream warriors survive. Kincaid's death. Kincaid tries to confront Freddy using brute strength, just as he did when he was younger. Freddy grins and whispers, "I'm rubber, you're glue." Kincaid punches Freddy, and he doesn't flinch. Instead, Kincaid feels the full force of his own blow on his own body. Despite this, Kincaid keeps going, hitting him over and over, but only Kincaid feels the force of his own blows. When Nancy finally reaches him, Kincaid is still standing, barely. Freddy takes one look at Nancy and disappears. "Stop fighting him," Kincaid says weakly before collapsing. Kincaid is gone. Micah's death. During the ritual, Micah hears Freddy's nursery rhyme coming from somewhere inside the dream sanctuary. He uses his scream. The entire dream realm ripples. The Freddy apparition shatters. Silence. Everyone thinks Micah destroyed him. Then Micah notices something. There is no sound anymore. He claps. Nothing. He screams. Nothing. Nancy is shouting at him, but Micah can't hear her. Freddy has turned silence itself against him. He appears smiling in front of Micah. Micah then tries to scream at Freddy, and each time the sound seems to trap itself around him, frozen in the air. Freddy snaps his fingers. Then sound suddenly returns. Micah explodes in a sonic boom, and Freddy laughs. Then thousands of invisible children whisper simultaneously, 1, 2, Freddy's coming for you. Freddy has learned from the Dream Warriors. Instead of merely fighting their dream powers, he's figured out how to invert them. Then the survivors realize the truth. Nancy, Kristen, Dawn, and Trish retreat deeper into the dream sanctuary. Nancy consults the completed dream codex, and she finally understands something hidden across her own writings going all the way back to 1984. Every victory against Freddy involved denying fear, but every victory was still based upon opposition. They hated him, they feared him, they wanted him destroyed. Therefore, they continued defining themselves in relation to him. Freddy remained part of them. The Book of Wounds curse doesn't simply preserve Freddy when someone kills him, it preserves the wound. And wounds don't disappear because you stab them. The Dream Codex Revelation. Nancy finds handwriting inside the codex she doesn't remember writing. What cannot be killed must be released. Then another line appears beneath it. The nightmare ends when the dreamer no longer needs it. Now they understand. They aren't going to forgive Freddy because he deserves forgiveness. They're forgiving him because they refuse to carry him anymore. Freddy does not want this. Freddy is terrified of the forgiveness ritual. At first he mocks it, then he attacks, then he becomes desperate. The dream sanctuary starts collapsing. Every previous nightmare returns simultaneously. The boiler room grows through the chapel. The nightmare spiral appears overhead. The Book of Wounds reforms itself from burning pages. The spider room crawls out of the walls. The mirror lake floods the floor. The dead appear. Tina, Glenn, Donald, the Dream Warriors. Everyone Freddy has used against them. The entire Pentalogy begins folding together. Freddy isn't merely trying to kill them anymore. He's trying to make them hate him again, because hatred will preserve him just as effectively as fear. Ending. Eventually Freddy has Nancy alone, and instead of attacking him, Nancy lowers her weapon. Freddy doesn't understand. He tries to provoke her. He transforms into Tina, Glenn, Donald, her mother, every person she couldn't save. Nancy cries, but she doesn't attack. Kristen joins her, then Dawn, then Trish, and finally the spirits of Kincaid and Micah appear behind them. Not attacking, just watching. Freddy starts coming apart, screaming not in rage, but in sorrow. For the first time, there are tears in his eyes. Freddy appears during the ritual, partially formed, crying, saying, "I don't know who I was before this." He begins to fade as the survivors say, "We forgive you, and you don't belong to us anymore." They're releasing themselves from him. The feathers. Freddy's glove hits the ground. The metal blades rust, crack, crumble, and become feathers. The dream wind carries them upward. After Freddy disappears, Nancy dreams one last time before the film ends. She sees a frightened child being pursued through a nightmare. A dark figure appears between the child and whatever is chasing them. Fedora, striped sweater. But we never see his face. The nightmare recoils. The child wakes. Nancy smiles slightly. Nancy's voice returns in a final narration. "We buried him in memory, but we wake without fear, and that is the final dream." Critics called it the grave of horror tropes. In closing, A Nightmare on Elm Street, Freddy is a man inside dreams. Dream Warriors, Freddy is a predator inside dreams. Nightmare Spiral, Freddy is an idea inside dreams. Book of Wounds, Freddy is a myth inside dreams. The Final Dream, Freddy is a wound inside the dreamer, and you can't stab a wound to death. You've just witnessed a dream rebuilt, a spiral woven from the best alternate echoes across the Elm line. Under Wes Craven's full creative control, Freddy Krueger evolves from a slasher villain into a cosmic entity, while Nancy Thompson's journey from final girl to dream anchor ties the series together. The Dream Codex, born from Nancy's diary, symbolizes the power of lucid dreaming, collective resistance, and forgiveness. Remember, when the night comes, don't fear the dream, shape it. The nightmare doesn't end because Freddy dies. It ends because the dreamers finally wake without him. The Storybearer.